want to state your name and give a little bit about your platform?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mnana Kambutho. I'm a third-year math and economics student here at UBC. Over the past year, I've been heavily involved with a club in UBC with one of the biggest outreach, around 900 people, called Africa Awareness. Over the past year, we've been able to achieve very many things, including starting our own magazine and throwing a very big conference week, one of the biggest we've had in our history. So I believe I bring a lot to the position, a lot of experience, and a lot of skills. Because I've been part of a club, I'm very into the needs and objectives of clubs, and that is part of one of the main points of my platform, is to really improve grant opportunities for clubs, increase the amount of grant deadlines that they have. I also hope to reduce faceless communication for clubs. I want them to feel like the AUS is close to them. And I also hope to improve sponsorship.
Okay, so my name is Chris Cummings. I'm a current second-year student aspiring to be in the economics program. The reason I'm running for AUS VP Finance are two main reasons, two things that I would like to address. The first being the current AUS surplus of $140,000, which is just sitting and doing nothing in an account. I'd like to use that money to either let it grow and put it into an endowment fund, or to B, actually work this into the budget so that our students can benefit now. The second thing would be to incorporate more money into social events. Currently, $23,000 is being spent on social events, such as Arts Week, parties that we throw, and Frosh. This is only 16% of the money that currently we get from tuition for art students. I think that this 16% is not high enough at all and should be raised.
Okay, so the first question, Manini, I'm just going to start with you. 2 years ago, the AUS had a capital expenditure budget of $20,000 and $10,000 this past year. Are you going to continue budgeting for capital expenditures? And how do you foresee yourself spending the money, if so?
Well, as I said, my platform is very focused on helping clubs. And I feel like it's because clubs really represent the real student body of the AUS. The 20 clubs that exist, including the French club, the German club, and so on. I want to increase their grant opportunities. I want to get close to their clubs. I want to get close to their presidents and their treasurers, and really help them to, improve their clubs, which I feel, will also help them because they'll feel like the AUS is trying to represent them, presently right there, face-to-face communication. And at the end of the day, it will be, I feel, a really good way to improve student life on campus.
Capital expenditures at $10,000 is roughly about like 7% of the budget. Seems like that is a reasonable amount, and I don't see any reason why I would up it or decrease it. As I said, for what I would like to do with the budget, 16% of the money is being put towards events. That's what art students benefit from, and I would like to see that increased. And if I were a VP Finance, that is exactly what I would increase. One particular aspect of the social events that I would like to increase is Frosh, which has only $3,000 put towards it. This is only 2% of the budget, and considering that this is something that first-year students, it sets the tone for what they think of art. I think that this should be increased, and that is what I would do with the budget.
Can I have a rebuttal? You say you want to increase funding for Frosh and more of our events.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask is, what are you going to sacrifice if you're going to do that? Because, we're both economists here, and we both know a lot is based on cost and benefit. And, we also held a really nice academic conference last year. So I really want to know, what would you sacrifice?
Okay, and stuff like that, I guess you'd be talking about like the arts last lecture, which had like $12,000 budgeted towards it. I think that if you take in aggregate like a little bit from like each thing that we budget for, like maybe if you take off like $500 for merchandising and like a little bit off of clothing or stuff like that, or other things that we do, I think if you take it from a little bit of each area, then you won't notice it too much. I wouldn't necessarily cut a whole program in general, like the arts last lecture or something like that.
Okay. Next question. start with you. Which aspect of the finance portfolio would you consider to be a priority?
Just putting more money into Frosh and potentially creating more events. Currently, we have like 2 parties a year. Potentially upping that to 4, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll firstly repeat my first point. I really want to help out clubs. I want to be as close as I can to them. The second thing I would really want to do is I would like to, in order to make the AUS more accountable to the student body, I want the AUS to produce monthly financial reports so that all students know where their money is being put. And they totally deserve it as well because they are all contributing to the AUS. And like myself, who also contributes to it, I like anyone else would like to know how the AUS is using its money.
Okay, any rebuttal?
Yeah, no, I just want to say that I agree with his point that there should be more transparency within the AUS. When I saw that the AUS currently runs surpluses of like 20,000 a year, and that money is just piled up into account, I was kind of shocked. So just some transparency so students actually know where their $140,000 in tuition is going. That's what I would like to do as well.
Okay. I realized, I read your platform last night, and I realized one of your main points is you wanted to use 140,000 of the surplus and put it in the endowment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you whether you were aware that in order to do that, you need to, according to AUS code, you need to have a referendum, and that means you'd have to get 1,000 votes to support that. Although, in my opinion, that would be pretty difficult because we all had the AMS elections, and there was a big referendum about divestment. Do you have any idea about that?
Yeah. Well, about the divestment thing, I think that was more about taking the money away from like dirty energy companies and putting it more into green energy. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily advocate that, but I would advocate putting it into some sort of investment fund. And like you said, if it does take, 1,000 votes or something like that, that's something that I would be willing to inquire about.
So you believe you get 1,000 votes?
Yeah, I think if it's something, if I inquire more about it and if I think it's a good idea, then yeah, that's something that I'd be willing to do.
Okay. Okay, so Munene, overall, what do you think about the current financial situation of the AUS? And what would you plan on doing with the surplus that the AUS has?
Well, the AUS is in a very good position. I mean, they have a big surplus that they've always had. They've been doing well for like the past 10 years. Working for AAI, we didn't have very much, and we managed to do so much. I mean, we spent twice what we had in our budget, but even now we've managed to maintain a surplus, which is pretty close to the position when we first started. So what I'm proposing is, I'm not saying as we work with the AUS that we're going to spend as much as possible. I think it's good that the AUS tries to get more sponsorship. That was something I want to work with the externals to do that, because that's a skill set I got with AAI. I think we need to really build on that because AUS had it, I think 2 years ago. I think Hasev's it, but this past year we didn't get any of that. But as I said, we have to make sure that we still gain a surplus next year. We want to continue in the correct direction. But as I said, I'm planning to help clubs more. I want them to really feel like they're represented. I mean, it's tiring. I mean, I've been campaigning so much, and there's so many people who don't even know what the AUS is. They don't even know what it stands for, and they don't even know it's there to represent them, and they clearly don't even know they're paying for it.
Okay. Chris, same question. Overall, what do you think about the current financial situation of the AUS? I know you mentioned about the surplus, but if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, while I think it's important to be fiscally responsible, I think that when you're running surpluses of like 20,000 consistently for like the past 5 years, something has to be done. As an art student that's paying 5,000, my tuition into the AUS, I think that I should be getting my money back to me, in whatever, way that's budgeted, but it should be returned to me. And for it to just sit there and do nothing, I think that's something that should be stopped. And as VP Finance, I would continue to be fiscally responsible but I would narrow the surplus that we're running each year.
Can I have a rebuttal? On your platform, it says that you wanted to put a lot of the surplus. It says you wanted to put 140,000 of it into the budget. Do you think it's a good idea to risk everything that the AUS has got over the past 10 years and put it just in the budget? Because it's what it says in your platform.
Okay. Well, I think what you're saying is what you inferred from my platform was I want to spend the $140,000 that we have in surplus and put that all towards the budget. That's not necessarily what I'm advocating.
And how much?
Maybe if we run surpluses of 20,000, and if we can spend 30,000 more and go in like $10,000, that's something that I would be happy with if I were VP Finance.
$10,000.
Yeah, if we were to, and that would mean like an extra $30,000 worth of spending that AUS students and art students could benefit from this year.
Okay. So, Chris, I'll start with you. What makes you the better candidate?
I think what makes me the better candidate is my plan for this year. As I've already talked about, I think personally I have a better platform and a plan for what I want to do with the money. And just overall, I do think I have a better plan going forward.
Okay.
Okay, as I said, I believe I have really good skills and experience for this job. I've been doing this for the past year with Africa Awareness, but I wouldn't want to do this again if I was really passionate about it and I really believed in what I was doing. So, I mean, whatever the AUS does in the future, I want to be a part of, and I want to really show the whole AUS body how we can help clubs and help them and really feel like they're being represented, because it's a bit tiring to hear many people don't really know about it. So yeah, I mean, I have more than enough experience. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm sure when people ask me questions, they will totally believe in what I'm saying, and I totally believe in the future of the AUS.
Okay. Any rebuttals or anything?
No.
Nope. All right. So, Munene, both of you actually mentioned that you plan on keeping the AUS fiscally responsible. So what are the steps you would take to do that? How do you plan on keeping the AUS fiscally responsible?
I was thinking about this today, and I was thinking that the AUS should also try and talk to the UBC Alumni Foundation. They contribute money, and I feel that even though we do have a great surplus, in case we need to spend more, I believe we should talk to them. But I also talked about improving sponsorship. I'm a keen believer of you never spend more than unless you can replace it. And at the end of the year, I want to make sure that like we did 2 years ago, we've got more from revenue than they got from this year and 3 years ago. So I want to continue that and make sure that it's the same thing I've been doing for my club. We've not spent more than we could recover, and that would be something I'd love to do for the AUS.
Okay. And Chris, you also mentioned keeping the AUS fiscally responsible. What are the steps you would take to do that?
Yeah, so like I said, what I would do is I would be spending almost exactly what we are getting in tuition from our art students. And I also said I want to put more money into social events. So what I would do is with the extra $20,000 that we can spend, I can put that into social events. And if I need to move money from elsewhere, I can just tinker with it a bit. But I do believe that the budget from last year, we should keep the status quo to a certain extent, but I would tinker with it a little bit.
Okay. Any rebuttals?